The alien woman walked slowly into the human colony. Her steps were weak and her body shook like a leaf in the wind. She was starving. Her skin, once bright and shining, now looked pale and dry. Her eyes searched for help, but no one cared. The colony was full of life. People carried food, water, and supplies. Children ran in the dusty streets. Traders shouted prices at the market. But when they saw her, silence followed. Faces turned away. Some laughed, others whispered, and many ignored her completely. She stopped in the middle of the street. Her stomach growled so loudly that even a dog nearby raised its head. She looked at the humans with desperate eyes. "Please, food." "I give anything," she whispered in broken human language. Her hands trembled as she touched her thin body, showing she was ready to offer herself. The humans only stared. A man selling bread laughed cruelly. "Look at her. She is ready to sell her body just for a piece of bread." Another woman shook her head. "Why waste food on her? She's not even human." "Let her die." The alien woman's heart sank. Shame burned in her chest. She was not proud, but hunger had broken her. She was ready to give everything just to survive one more day. But no one cared. The crowd slowly walked away, leaving her standing alone in the dust. She felt dizzy. The world around her blurred. She dropped to her knees. For a moment she thought it was the end. Maybe this was how she would die, hungry, forgotten, and mocked. But then, she felt it. A shadow fell across her. Someone was standing in front of her. Slowly she lifted her head. A man. A human man. He was tall, with dark eyes that did not shine with laughter like the others. His face was serious, calm, and unreadable. He looked down at her, but his eyes were not cruel. He said nothing, only watched her closely. The alien woman's heart raced. Was he another one who came to laugh at her? Or worse, did he come to take her offer? She tried to move back, but her body was too weak. The man slowly reached into his bag. The crowd that still lingered gasped. "He's going to take her," one of them whispered. But the man did not touch her. He pulled out a small piece of bread and a flask of water. Without a word, he placed them gently in front of her. The alien woman blinked in shock. Her dry lips trembled. She had expected anything but kindness. Her hands shook as she picked up the bread. She sniffed it, almost not believing it was real. Then she took a bite and tears filled her eyes. The man watched quietly as she ate. He did not laugh. He did not ask for anything in return. "Why?" she whispered after drinking the water. Her voice was broken. "Why you help me?" The man finally spoke, his voice calm and deep. "Because no one else will." The alien woman stared at him. She wanted to ask more, but her strength was gone. She ate quickly, afraid someone would take it away. Around them, people whispered and gossiped. "He's wasting food on her. He must be mad. She's not worth saving." The man ignored them all. He looked at her again, his eyes sharp but not unkind. "You cannot stay here," he said. "They will not help you. They will let you die." Her heart pounded. She knew he was right. But could she trust him? Humans had enslaved her kind in the past. Humans had mocked her today. Why should this one be different? Still, he had fed her when no one else did. That small act of kindness burned brighter than all the cruelty. The man turned and began to walk away. After a few steps, he stopped and looked back. "Follow me," he said simply. The alien woman froze. This was her choice. Stay in the cruel colony where no one cared, or follow this strange human into the unknown. Her stomach was still weak, but hope sparked in her chest for the first time in years. Slowly, with shaking legs, she pushed herself up. She took one step, then another, and followed him. Behind them, the colony whispered. Some laughed, some spat on the ground, and others just watched in silence. But none of them stopped her. The man and the alien woman walked into the fading light of the evening. The sun dropped lower and shadows grew long across the ground. She felt fear, but also something new. Curiosity. Who was this man? Why did he help her? And where was he leading her? The answers waited ahead, hidden in the darkness of the coming night. For the first time in a long time, the alien woman felt she might still have a future. And for the first time, the colony wondered if they had just witnessed the beginning of something dangerous. Or something extraordinary. The alien woman followed the man with shaky steps. Her body was weak, but the bread and water gave her just enough strength to move. The colony grew quieter behind them. Soon the sounds of gossip, laughter, and trade faded. Only the sound of her feet dragging on the ground and his strong footsteps remained. The man did not look back often, but he slowed his pace, making sure she could keep up. His movements were calm, steady, and strange. He walked like someone used to danger, always watching the corners and shadows. Finally, he led her to the edge of the colony. A tall wall of broken stone and metal stood before them, marking the border. Beyond it lay the wastelands, dry land, endless dust, and ruins of old wars. The alien woman stopped, fear rising in her chest. "You want me to leave with you?" she asked weakly. The man turned his head. His dark eyes studied her carefully. "If you stay here, they will let you starve. If you come with me, maybe you live." His words were simple but heavy. She remembered the cruel faces in the colony, the laughter, the shame. She also remembered the bread he had given her. It was the only kindness she had seen in years. Still, doubt filled her heart. Could she really trust him? He was human, and humans had destroyed her people long ago. Her mother used to whisper stories. Never trust a human. They smile while they put chains on your neck. She lowered her eyes. Why you help me? Others don't." The man looked toward the wasteland, his face hard like stone. For a long time he did not answer. Then he said softly, "Because I know what hunger feels like." His words struck her like lightning. Hunger? Did a human ever starve the way her people did? She wanted to ask more, but his expression stopped her. He was hiding something, she could feel it. Without another word, the man climbed over the wall. He moved with strength, pulling himself up and dropping to the other side easily. Then he looked back. "Come," he said firmly. The alien woman stood frozen. On one side was the colony where she would surely die. On the other side was this strange human who might save her or destroy her. Her heart beat faster. She gripped the wall, pulled herself up with weak arms, and somehow managed to climb. She almost slipped, but the man reached up and caught her wrist. His grip was strong, unshaking. For a second, their eyes met. His touch was not cruel but steady, pulling her safely down. When her feet touched the dust of the wasteland, she felt like she had crossed into another world. The colony lights flickered far behind them. Ahead, the desert stretched into endless night. They walked in silence. The man did not waste words. The alien woman wanted to ask questions, but fear kept her quiet. Only once did she whisper, "Where we go?" The man's reply was short. "To safety," but his tone made her wonder. Safety from what? From hunger? From humans? Or from something worse that she did not yet see? Hours passed. The moon rose high above them. Her legs grew weak again. She stumbled. The man stopped and finally spoke more than one sentence. "You will not survive long like this. You need strength, food, rest." She nodded, ashamed of her weakness. Her stomach twisted with pain. Her whole body felt like it would break apart. The man searched the ruins nearby. He returned with something wrapped in cloth. He placed it in her hands. She opened it carefully. Inside was dried meat. Her eyes widened. "This for me?" He nodded once. "Eat." Tears stung her eyes. Twice he had fed her. Twice he had given without asking. Why, she could not understand it. She ate slowly, each bite filling her empty stomach. The taste was bitter, but it was life itself. While she ate, she studied him. His eyes always scanned the horizon, always watching. He did not act like a simple worker. His steps were too careful, his body too tense, his silence too heavy. He was hiding something. Finally, she asked again, "Who are you?" The man's eyes shifted toward her. For the first time, a faint smile touched his lips, though it was not warm. "A man who does not belong," he said. Before she could reply, a distant sound cut the night air. Engines. The low growl of machines. Her body froze. The man's expression hardened. His hand went to the blade at his side. He looked into the darkness. "They are coming," he whispered. Her heart pounded. "Who?" "Hunters," he said. "For me and maybe for you." Fear gripped her chest. She looked back toward the colony. It was too far to run. She looked at the man, the only human who had shown her kindness. The alien woman's choice was clear now. Stay by his side or be taken by whoever hunted them. The engines grew louder. The ground shook slightly beneath her feet. Red lights appeared in the distance, glowing like the eyes of demons. The man drew his blade, his voice steady but sharp. "Stay close to me. Whatever happens, do not run." She clutched the cloth of his sleeve, trembling. For the first time since meeting him, she believed he was more than just a kind stranger. He was something else. Something dangerous. The night was no longer silent. The hunters were coming. and the alien woman knew that her life and maybe his would change forever. The sound of engines grew louder. Red lights flickered across the wasteland like the eyes of hunting beasts. The alien woman's legs shook. She wanted to run, but the man's words echoed in her head. "Do not run." The man moved quickly. His eyes scanned the ruins around them. He pulled her toward a broken stairway that led underground. Stone crumbled beneath their feet, but he kept a strong grip on her arm. "Hurry," he whispered. She followed, her heart racing. They entered a dark tunnel hidden beneath the ruins. The air was cold, damp, and heavy with dust. Strange carvings lined the walls, glowing faintly in the dim light of the moon that slipped through cracks above. The alien woman stopped for a moment, staring at the markings. They looked ancient. Shapes of humans and aliens locked in battle, chains, fire, a history carved in stone. "What is this place?" she whispered. The man glanced back. His face was unreadable. "A memory. One the colony wants to forget." Before she could ask more, the roar of engines shook the ground above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. She gasped, covering her mouth. The man pressed a finger to his lips. Silence was their only shield now. They moved deeper into the tunnels. The path twisted and narrowed. Her hands brushed against the walls, feeling the rough stone and deep cuts of the carvings. Each one told a story of war and betrayal. Her people had been chained, beaten, and starved, and the ones holding the chains had faces like his. Her chest tightened. Fear turned into anger. Why did she follow him? Was she walking into the hands of another human trick? "Why you bring me here?" she asked, her voice low but sharp. The man stopped. In the flickering light, his eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the strange carvings. "Because out there you will not survive. Down here at least we have a chance." His words felt heavy with truth. Still, she narrowed her eyes. "You different. You fight like soldier. You move like soldier. Who are you?" The man's jaw tightened. For a moment he said nothing. Then his voice dropped lower, almost like a growl. "I was once part of them. The hunters." Her heart froze. She stepped back, fear rushing through her veins. You are one of them?" "I was," he said firmly. Not anymore. She wanted to run. Every story she had heard about hunters came alive in her mind. Humans who tracked, captured, and killed her kind. Merciless machines of flesh and blood. And now one of them stood before her, the very man she had followed. But he had given her bread. He had given her water. He had saved her from the colony. He had led her here, not in chains, but in freedom. Her thoughts twisted with confusion. Above them, heavy steps echoed. Metal feet. The hunters were searching. The man's hand went to his blade. "Listen to me," he whispered quickly. "If they find us, we fight. I will protect you. But you must trust me." "Trust?" The word cut deep. Her people had trusted before, and it brought only chains. But something inside her said he was different. The footsteps grew closer. She could hear the cold, metallic voices of the hunters scanning the ruins. Target detected. Alien scent confirmed. Her body froze. Panic burned in her chest. The man grabbed her hand tightly. His grip was strong, steady, and full of a silent promise. "I will not let them take you." The tunnel shook as the hunters dropped inside. Their glowing red eyes pierced the darkness. "Run," the man ordered. She hesitated only for a second. Then her legs moved. She ran deeper into the tunnel as the man turned and faced the machines. The clash of steel rang behind her. Sparks flew in the dark as his blade met their metal arms. The alien woman stumbled through the twisting passage. The carvings glowed brighter now, almost alive. She felt a strange pull from them, like the walls themselves were watching. Suddenly, a scream of metal echoed behind her. She turned and saw the man, blood on his arm but still standing. He fought like no ordinary human. His strikes were fast, powerful, filled with rage. The machines fell one by one, sparks bursting in the tunnel. But then she saw something that froze her heart. For a brief moment, his eyes glowed again. Bright, unnatural, almost alien. She gasped. The man noticed her stare. For a second, his face softened. Then with a final strike, he destroyed the last hunter. The tunnel went silent, filled only with the sound of his heavy breathing. He wiped the blood from his arm and walked toward her. She stepped back, fear and curiosity mixing inside her. "What are you?" she whispered. The man looked at her with dark eyes, glowing faintly in the shadows. "Not what they are. Not what you think I am. Something in between." Her stomach tightened. "In between human and something else?" Before she could speak, more footsteps echoed above. Reinforcements. The hunters were not done. The man grabbed her arm again. There is no time, come. You must see the truth before they find us again. He pulled her deeper into the tunnels. The carvings around them grew larger, more detailed, showing the same story over and over. Humans and aliens chained together, fighting against something greater. The alien woman's mind raced. The man's glowing eyes, his strength, his words, the carvings. What truth was he leading her toward? The tunnel bent sharply and a massive stone door appeared, covered in symbols that glowed faintly like fire. He stopped before it, breathing hard. His hand pressed against the stone. The carvings lit brighter, responding to his touch. The alien woman's heart pounded. She whispered in fear and awe, You are not just human." The man looked back at her, his face shadowed, his eyes glowing faint. "No," he said, "and soon you will know why." The sound of hunters drew closer, but the stone door began to move, opening slowly into the dark beyond. Whatever secrets the man carried, they were waiting inside. The heavy stone door groaned as it opened. Dust rained down, and the tunnel filled with the echo of grinding stone. Behind them, the sound of the hunters grew louder. Metal feet striking the earth, voices cold and sharp. Target locked. Pursue. The alien woman's chest tightened with fear. The man did not hesitate. He pulled her inside the dark chamber as the massive door slid open enough for them to slip through. The moment they entered, the carvings on the walls glowed brighter, filling the space with strange golden light. The woman gasped. Inside the chamber were statues, giant figures of both humans and aliens standing side by side, holding weapons together. Chains lay broken at their feet. What is this place?" she whispered. The man's eyes scanned the room. His face was hard, but there was something like sorrow in his expression. This is a place of truth. Long before the colony, long before the hunters, humans and your kind fought together. Her mouth opened, but no words came. She had only ever heard of war and betrayal. To see carvings of unity, it shook her heart. Before she could ask more, the door behind them shook violently. The hunters were breaking through. The man turned, pulling his blade free. The golden light caught on the steel, making it shine like fire. "They found us," he said calmly. The alien woman's body trembled. She pressed back against the statues, wishing she could disappear. "We cannot fight them all," she whispered. The man's jaw tightened. "Then we fight until we cannot." The door cracked open and the hunters stormed in. Their red eyes cut through the chamber, searching. The first one saw her immediately. Its metallic voice boomed, "Alien detected." "Capture alive," it charged. The alien woman screamed, but the man was faster. He moved like lightning, his blade striking sparks as it clashed with the machine's arm. The sound rang through the chamber. The hunter staggered, but more poured in behind it. The battle began. The man fought with deadly skill. His movements were sharp and precise, every strike filled with fury. Sparks burst with each clash. Metal arms swung, but he dodged, twisted, and countered. One machine fell, its head rolling across the floor, red lights fading. The alien woman watched in awe and fear. This was no ordinary human. His strength, his speed, it was too much. And then she saw it again, his eyes glowing faintly in the golden light. Human, but not human. Still, there were too many. For every hunter he destroyed, 2 more entered. The chamber filled with their cold voices. "Do not let him escape. Eliminate the male. The alien is priority." One machine broke past him and charged straight for her. She screamed and stumbled backward, falling against a statue. The hunter's metal claws reached for her. Then the statue's carvings glowed, reacting to her touch. A surge of light shot through the chamber. The hunter froze for a split second, its red eyes flickering. The man seized the moment. With one powerful strike, he split the machine in 2. He turned to her, his face fierce. "The statues respond to you," he shouted. "Do not fear them, use them." Her heart raced. She didn't understand, but her hand reached out again, touching another statue. This time the golden carvings flared brighter, spreading across the chamber walls. The hunters staggered, their red lights dimming as if something ancient was fighting them back. The man took advantage, cutting down another machine with brutal force. "Good," he called. "Keep touching them." "Wake this place!" She obeyed, moving from statue to statue, her hands trembling but determined. Each touch sent waves of golden light through the carvings. The chamber seemed alive, humming with power. The hunters faltered, their movements slowing. But then the leader arrived. Taller, stronger, its body covered in heavy black armor, glowing red lines across its frame. Its voice was colder than the rest. Enough games. Terminate resistance. It raised an arm and a blast of energy shot across the chamber. The golden light flickered, and the alien woman was thrown to the ground. Pain shot through her body. The man stood in front of her, blocking the second blast with his blade. The force pushed him back, his feet scraping against the stone. His eyes glowed brighter now, not faint but burning like fire. He roared with fury and charged the leader. The clash shook the chamber. Blade against steel, sparks against shadows. The alien woman crawled to the nearest statue, her hand pressing desperately against the carvings. More light flared, flowing into the man's blade. For the first time, she saw it, the golden light running through him, mixing with the glow of his strange eyes. He was connected to this place, just like her. The leader swung hard, nearly knocking him down, but he rose again, stronger, faster. With a final cry, he drove his blade through the machine's chest. The leader staggered, red lights flickering, then collapsed with a crash. The chamber fell silent. The remaining hunters froze, their lights fading as if the leader's death had ended their command. One by one, they fell lifeless to the floor. The man stood, his chest rising and falling heavily. His blade dripped with sparks and blood from his own wounds. The alien woman stared at him, her body shaking. "You? What are you?" she whispered. He looked at her, his glowing eyes dimming slowly back to human darkness. His voice was rough but steady. "I am what they fear. I am what you were never told." She wanted to ask more, but the carvings behind her shifted. The golden light pulsed and a doorway opened deeper into the chamber. A voice seemed to whisper through the stone. Not human, not alien, but something older. The man looked toward the new passage, his face grim. "The truth waits for us, but once you see it, there is no turning back." The alien woman's heart pounded. She had followed him this far. She had seen his strength, his strange nature, and his kindness. Now she had no choice. Together, they stepped through the glowing doorway, leaving the broken hunters behind. But in the silence of the chamber, one red light flickered back to life, hidden in the shadows. The fight was not over. The glowing doorway led them into another chamber. The air was colder here and the silence was heavy, like a weight pressing down on their shoulders. The alien woman shivered. She felt the walls themselves were watching her. The man's steps echoed softly as he led the way. His hand still gripped his blade, though his arms shook from wounds. Yet he walked with purpose, as if he had been here before. The chamber opened wide, larger than any hall she had seen. In the center stood a tall pillar of stone covered in symbols. The carvings glowed faintly, just like the statues earlier. But these were different. They showed humans and aliens standing together, not as enemies but as allies fighting against creatures that looked like machines. The alien woman's breath caught in her throat. She touched the carvings with trembling fingers. They felt warm, alive, as if energy flowed beneath the stone. This cannot be true," she whispered. The man's eyes rested on the pillar. "It is truth," he said. His voice was low, steady, but there was sadness in it. She turned to him sharply. "No, humans killed my people. Humans chained us, starved us, laughed as we begged for food. I saw it, I lived it. How can these carvings say otherwise?" The man did not flinch at her words. He walked closer to the pillar, placing his hand upon it. The glow spread across the stone, pulsing as if answering his touch. His eyes glowed faintly again, golden this time instead of fiery red. "Long ago," he began, "before the colonies, before the hunters, before your people were broken, humans and aliens stood as one. They fought side by side against a greater enemy, the machines." She stared at him in disbelief. "Lies," she whispered. "Why should I believe you?" He turned to her now, his face tired but honest. "Because I was part of the hunters. I know the truth they try to bury. I walked in their shadow. I obeyed their commands. I did terrible things, and then I saw what they hid." The alien woman stepped back. His words felt like blades. Part of her wanted to scream, to run, to hate him. Yet another part of her, the part that remembered his bread, his water, his protection, could not let go so easily. Her voice shook. "Then why save me? If you are one of them, why feed me? Why fight them?" The man's eyes burned with something more than light, pain, regret. Because I saw myself in you, starving, forgotten, left to die. I lived that once as a child. My family was abandoned in the wastelands. We begged for food. No one cared. I survived, but I never forgot. When I saw you, I could not walk away. His words broke through her anger like sunlight through clouds. She saw it now. Not just a fighter, not just a hunter turned enemy, but a man who carried scars inside him just as she did. She lowered her eyes. And these machines? These hunters? Why chase us? The man moved closer to the pillar. His hand pressed against a symbol of chains breaking. The stone glowed brighter, filling the chamber with golden light. Because they fear the old truth. They want humans and aliens divided, always weak, always broken. If we remember we were once united, they lose their power. Her heart raced. She touched the pillar beside his hand. The carvings glowed under her fingers, spreading light into the chamber. The stone hummed like a heartbeat. The man looked at her. You are not just any alien. The way the statues answered your touch, the way the pillar responds, you carry something inside you. A bloodline, a memory. You are connected to this truth. She shook her head, overwhelmed. No, I am no one. I was starving in the streets. I begged for food like an animal. I offered myself because I had nothing left. But the pillar disagreed. Its light spread wider, wrapping around her. Visions flashed in her mind, an alien queen with a crown of stars leading her people in battle. A human king fighting at her side. Together they destroyed machines, their armies moving as one. The alien woman gasped and fell to her knees. Her hands clutched her head as the visions burned inside her. She saw fire, chains, betrayal, and then silence. When the light faded, she looked up at the man, her eyes wide with fear and awe. I saw in her, a queen, my blood. Her blood, it is mine. The man nodded slowly. Yes, you are her heir, the last of your line. Her body trembled. She was not just a starving beggar. She was something more, something greater. But the thought terrified her. No, she whispered. I cannot be her, I am weak. I am broken. The man knelt before her, his hand steady on her shoulder. His eyes, glowing faintly in the golden light, met hers. You are not broken. You are what they fear. You are what they tried to erase. That is why I must protect you, because if you rise, the machines will fall. Tears filled her eyes. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe the visions. But doubt was stronger. She had been hungry, mocked, thrown away. How could such a woman be a queen? Before she could answer, the ground shook. The chamber walls trembled. The golden light flickered. The man's face hardened. They are coming, reinforcements, her stomach twisted. More hunters? More, he said grimly. And stronger. The pillar pulsed one last time before going dark. The truth had been revealed. But with it came danger greater than before. The alien woman wiped her tears and stood slowly. Her voice was quiet but steady. If I am truly her heir, then I will not run. The man's eyes burned with pride. He rose beside her, blade in hand. Then we stand together. The chamber filled with the echo of engines once again. The hunters had found them. But this time the alien woman no longer felt like prey. She was something more. The ground shook as the hunters closed in. Their engines roared like thunder, echoing through the ruins above. The alien woman stood beside the man, her heart racing. She still felt weak, but the vision of the queen burned inside her mind. She was no longer just a starving beggar. Something deeper had awakened. The man tightened his grip on his blade. His dark eyes glowed faintly again, the golden fire inside him refusing to fade. He looked at her once, his voice steady. Remember what you saw. Remember who you are. Tonight we fight not just to live, but to show them we will not bow. She swallowed hard and nodded. Her hands trembled, but not only with fear. There was power buzzing in her veins, a strange energy she did not yet understand. The first hunter crashed through the wall, red eyes burning in the dark. Behind it came more, crawling like insects made of steel. Their voices echoed cold and sharp. Terminate resistance. Capture the queen's bloodline. Her chest tightened. They knew. Somehow they knew what she was. The man stepped forward. His blade shone in the faint golden glow, still clinging to the chamber walls. Stay behind me, he ordered, but this time she did not hide. When the hunters charged, the man met them head-on. His strikes were fast and merciless. Sparks flew with every clash of steel. He moved like a storm, but even storms tire. Blood dripped from his arm where claws had cut deep. The alien woman's fear turned into fire. She remembered the statues, the pillar, the visions. She pressed her hand against the carvings on the wall. Golden light surged through the chamber again, brighter than before. The hunters froze for a moment, their red lights flickering. The man looked back at her, surprise flashing in his eyes. "You can command it," he shouted. "Use it!" Her heart pounded. She closed her eyes, pressing both hands against the glowing wall. The carvings pulsed under her palms. The golden energy spread across the chamber like living fire. The hunters staggered, their limbs jerking unnaturally. One collapsed completely, its systems fried by the strange light. Another screeched as the glow wrapped around it, crushing it like an invisible hand. The alien woman gasped, falling to her knees. The power drained her body, but it was real. She could fight too. The man rushed to her side, cutting down another machine before it could reach her. He knelt, gripping her shoulders. "Good. You are stronger than you think. But do not burn yourself too quickly." She nodded, breathless. I can feel them. The machines. The light pushes them back. Before he could answer, the chamber doors exploded open. The hunters' reinforcements arrived, bigger, heavier, carrying weapons that glowed with crimson fire. The leader of this group stepped forward, its voice deeper and colder than the last. "Resistance is futile. The Queen's heir will be taken alive. The hybrid will be destroyed." Hybrid. The word echoed in her mind. She looked at the man. His glowing eyes, his unnatural strength. The hunters had named him. Not fully human. Not alien. Something in between. But there was no time to ask. The hunters opened fire. Crimson blast lit up the chamber, tearing through stone. Statues shattered. Dust filled the air. The man pulled her down, shielding her with his own body as blasts struck near them. He rose with a roar, charging forward. His blade cut through the crimson fire, glowing brighter as if feeding on the golden energy around him. The alien woman forced herself up. She would not watch him fight alone. She pressed her hands to the broken stone, desperate to call the light again. This time it answered stronger. The ground beneath the hunters cracked. Golden chains of energy burst from the floor, wrapping around their legs, binding them. The machines struggled, their weapons firing wildly, but they could not break free. The man took his chance. He leapt through the chaos, his blade a streak of fire. One by one, the bound hunters fell under his strikes. The leader roared, breaking free of the golden chains, and swung a massive arm at him. The man was thrown against the wall with a crash. Blood spilled from his mouth and his blade clattered to the ground. The alien woman screamed. She felt something snap inside her. Not fear, not weakness, but rage. The golden light surged out of her body, brighter than before, filling the entire chamber. The hunters froze in place. Their red eyes flickered violently. Sparks burst from their joints. The leader staggered, raising its weapon, but the light wrapped around it like fire. Her voice echoed through the chamber, strong and clear. "No more chains. No more hunger. No more fear." The golden energy crushed the leader, tearing it apart piece by piece until it collapsed in flames. The other hunters fell with it, their lights fading into silence. When the glow dimmed, the chamber was quiet. The alien woman collapsed to the floor, gasping, her strength nearly gone. She had unleashed power she never knew existed. The man crawled toward her, blood on his face, but his eyes burning with pride. He placed a hand on her shoulder, steady and warm. "You did it," he whispered. "You awakened it." She looked at him with trembling lips. "But I cannot control it." "It nearly killed me." He shook his head. "No, it saved us. It saved me." For the first time, she believed him. She had been starving, forgotten, mocked. Now she had stood against hunters, destroyed them with her own power. She was not the weak woman the colony had laughed at. But as she leaned against him, she saw the pain in his eyes, the blood soaking his side. He had fought for her, bled for her, and now he might not survive. Tears filled her eyes as she held him. "Don't leave me," she whispered. "I cannot do this alone." He smiled faintly, his voice soft but full of strength. "You are not alone anymore. Remember that." The chamber lights flickered once more, as if the ancient place itself heard his words. But outside, in the ruins above, the engines of even greater hunters roared. This battle was only the beginning. The ruins were silent after the battle, but the silence felt heavy, like the world itself was holding its breath. The alien woman knelt beside the man, his blood staining the floor. His face was pale, his breath shallow, but his eyes still burned with that strange golden fire. Her heart ached. He had saved her again and again. He had fought like no ordinary human, stood between her and the hunters, and now he was broken because of it. "You cannot die," she whispered, clutching his hand. "Not now. Not when I just found you." The man gave her a weak smile, his voice rough. "I am not dead yet. Don't cry for me. Cry for the ones who gave up long ago." Tears slid down her cheeks. She wanted to argue, but before she could, the pillar in the chamber began to glow again. Golden light spread across the walls, and the ground shook softly beneath them. A voice filled the chamber. It was not human, not alien, not machine. It was something older, deeper. It spoke in words she didn't understand, yet the meaning entered her heart. "Daughter of the Queen, rise." The alien woman's body trembled. The light wrapped around her, lifting her to her feet. Her wounds faded, her weakness melted away. She stood tall, her eyes glowing like the carvings. The man looked up at her, awe in his gaze. "The bloodline awakens," he whispered. Visions struck her mind again. She saw the alien queen, her ancestor, standing side by side with a human king, uniting their people. She saw the machines rising, endless and merciless. She saw betrayal, chains, fire. But she also saw hope, unity, and victory, and then she saw herself, not as a beggar, not as a starving outcast, but as a leader carrying the same crown of light her ancestor once wore. The voice spoke again. "Choose, daughter. Return to your people and lead them, or stay here and vanish with the human who saved you." Her heart nearly stopped. The choice burned inside her. If she returned to her people, she could rebuild them. She could lead them into a new future, free from chains, free from hunger. She could end the cycle of suffering, but it meant leaving him behind, the only human who had shown her kindness, the only one who had seen her as more than prey. She turned to him, her voice breaking. "They want me to leave you. They want me to choose my people over you." The man coughed, his blood dripping onto the stone. Still, his eyes never left hers. "Then choose them," he said softly. "Do what I cannot. Do what must be done." Her tears fell harder. "But without you, I am nothing." He shook his head weakly. "You are everything. You just don't see it yet. You were never nothing. You were always meant to rise. I was only here to help you remember." The words cut deep. She fell to her knees beside him again, holding his face in her hands. "Why you? Why not someone else? Why must you suffer so I can live?" His faint smile returned. "Because sometimes humans must give, not take. Maybe that is how we begin again." The chamber glowed brighter, as if urging her to decide. The air trembled with power. Outside, the sound of more hunters grew closer. Time was running out, her heart split in two. One path led to her people, to her destiny as queen. The other led to him, to staying by his side, even if it meant death. She closed her eyes, listening to the voice within her blood, the memory of the queen, and the beating of her own heart. Then she whispered, steady and clear, "I will not abandon him. Not now, not ever." The pillar's light flared, shaking the chamber. The voice thundered again, "Then unite. Not as queen, not as human, but as something greater." Golden energy poured from the pillar, wrapping around both her and the man. His wounds closed, his breath grew stronger. His eyes widened as the glow entered him too, his fire mixing with hers. The alien woman gasped as the light bound them together. She felt his heartbeat, his pain, his strength, as if it were her own. He was no longer just human, no longer hybrid. He was hers, and she was his. The hunters above roared, crashing through the ruins. But when they entered the chamber, they stopped. Their red eyes flickered, trembling. The golden light around the woman and the man grew brighter, blinding. She stood tall, her hand gripping his. Together they stepped forward, golden fire swirling around them. The hunters hesitated, their cold voices breaking. Unknown power detected. Unable to calculate. Retreat, retreat. For the first time the hunters fled. The chamber fell silent once more. The woman looked at the man, her tears finally stopping. He smiled faintly, stronger now. "You did not choose your people," he said softly. She shook her head. "No, I chose us. And maybe that will save them too." They walked out of the ruins together into the wasteland night. The stars above shone brighter than before. She was no longer just a starving alien, and he was no longer just a strange human. Together they were something new, something the machines could not predict, and something the colonies could not deny. The beginning of a story not of queen or soldier, but of unity. And in the distance, for the first time in centuries, hope rose again.